You know, when a man is constantly binging dopamine, you go up, then you crash, then you go up, then you crash, which is why porn addiction often goes hand in hand with a sugar addiction and caffeine addiction.
Guilty as charged.
You go up and then you crash, and your brain says, well, I could either chug a Mountain Dew or crank one out to the hub, and either way, you're going to do it, right? And you're gonna do it either way. But when you get off that cycle, what's cool is your dopamine starts leveling out in your brain because you're not constantly feeding it. So then your brain produces its own. But what's amazing is you get into bed with your wife, and instead of just dopamine binging, like, hey, I forgot she's in the room, but hey, there's these disembodied boobs floating here. You actually engage with her, you talk with her, you share, you laugh, you play, you have a experience, and then you're flooded with oxytocin, you're flooded with serotonin, you are content longer, you share an experience, and that's actually what helps women enjoy the experience as well. Women aren't usually there for a dopamine binge at all. They're there for the oxytocin and the serotonin experience, which is what makes your wife want to do it with you more often. It sets her on that cycle, and it helps her actually even have that with you. So then sex becomes a bonding experience instead of just, all right, let's get this done because I'm stressed out. It's massive. You have to do this.
And this is actually the problem with the whole immediate gratification culture that got introduced to us by the accessibility of the internet. And that is, we simply take the easiest hormone we could play with. You know, it is dopamine predominantly, depending what you do. It could be things like adrenaline, right? If you're watching horror movies, if you're playing video games, you know, things that also spike that. But they're very, very basic things that are supposed to be either the climax of an experience or the initiation of an experience. But there's a huge range of human emotion and human experiences in between them that are accessible by oxytocin and serotonin and all these other hormones. It's almost like we've overloaded our brain with just the easy to get stuff. And that's like 10% of your actual positive experiences in life. You're supposed to be getting the rest through these more complicated, more advanced techniques that we've developed as a society. I'm sure dopamine is probably one of the first things we've developed as a human.
Think of it this way. If good, clean food is the equivalent of oxytocin and serotonin, but you have to work to get it, that's hunting, right? Mm-hmm. We are supposed to be hunter-gatherers. That's what we're supposed to be hunting. But what that has transitioned us to is get the bare bones that we basically can with minimal nutrition. It hasn't turned men from hunters into gatherers. It's turned men from hunters into scavengers.
Ugh.
We're really a society of scavengers feeding on the bottom of what we can get, just barely scraping through on bare, rotten nutrition and losing all of the healthy nutrition we're supposed to be getting.
Yeah, that's actually quite the image, right? So basically, if you're watching pornography, getting those easy hormones, you're basically scavenging somebody else's fake romantic life. That's pretty disturbing if you actually put it into perspective. So I'm kind of curious, Larry. So for all the dads out there that are struggling with pornography, they're struggling with caffeine, they're basically struggling with the short-term gratification addiction, what are some of the things that you've seen work? How do you help them? How do you get them out of this?
So just as far as like the addictions go and that kind of thing?
Especially the addictions, because ultimately if you can't fix an addiction, you can't really move forward in life.
Yeah, but the discipline, the self-control, the even desiring to have better sex with your wife, all of this.
You know, there's a couple things. And is it okay if I just maybe share personal stories?
The more the better, actually.
Our audience at home loves stories because they can relate to them.
So for me, I need a physical release every day. And I don't know, maybe there's a psychological attachment to that one. I don't really know. But like first thing in the morning, I work out. Like I get up same time every day. I go to the gym, same time every day. And sometimes I have great training sessions and sometimes they're terrible. Like this morning I was exhausted. I've been traveling all week and I went to train and I was like, I feel so tired and I don't feel like doing this, but I'm going to go do it anyway. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best workout, it was like a 4. But I was like, I'm still going to go in there. I'm still going to sweat. And there's just something I think, I just recently interviewed a podcast guest and he talked about cortisol and how we basically get rid of cortisol. And for me, you know, I think he said that it's through heart rate and carbon dioxide, you actually release it. And for me, like, I was like, well, that makes a ton of sense because I feel more stress if I don't exercise in some way, shape or form. And even if I didn't get like the aesthetic physical results of training, I would still do it because of the mental and emotional benefits that I get from it. So for me, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that they miss that, right? Or they just simply say, I don't have time for that. Even Russell Branson, you know, one of the richest guys on the planet, you know, when I think it was Success Magazine that asked him, you know, like did an interview with him, and they're like, what is the key to your success? And he said 2 words, work out, which is 1 word. But that was kind of like the joke, right? He's like, work out. He's like, everybody has the same time during the day. He's like, everybody has the same 24 hours. He goes, I am more productive and I'm just better mentally and emotionally and everything if I do a workout, even if it's only 20 or 30 minutes. So I think there's a lot of guys out there going back to like that nobility thing, right? Where we like literally throw ourselves on the sword of nobility and busyness and providing and everything, that we fail to take care of ourselves. And I think that that's a huge miss, because I think the thought process around it too is very extreme. And I fall into that trap too. What I mean by that is, well, if I can't work out for an hour and a half, I'm just not going to do it at all, right? If I can't run 5 miles, I'm not going to run at all. And we always say that like 10 push-ups are better than 0. Like even if you only have 15 minutes, like go do something for 15 minutes, right? You're going to get some serious benefits from that. So I think whatever your self-care is, for some guys it's training, for other guys it's their faith, right? They have prayer time in the morning. For some guys it's mindfulness and meditation, right? But I think doing something for yourself that fills you up, that makes you a better person for others, is so important. And if you're not doing that, I think that's a huge miss. It's kind of like our analogy with porn, right? You don't know how great sex is actually going to be with your wife until you get rid of that. And sometimes you don't know how much better you're going to show up for somebody unless you're fulfilling yourself in some way, shape, or form with some self-care.
If you like this clip, I know you're going to enjoy the full episode. You can watch it right here.